Sakyamuni.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni
Dear
Phật.
all singer and practitioners,
Kính thưa quý thầy, quý sư cô cùng toàn thể
it is Saturday
thầy
afternoon, August
và bây
9,
giờ thì
2025.
buổi
We
chiều ngày thứ bảy
continue
9
with
tây
the
tháng
topic.
8 năm 2025. Chúng ta cũng tiếp tục cái đề
The
tài
topic is to
lập hạnh.
establish um, the
Đối với
the
người
right
tham thiền,
action.
chúng ta luôn đặt công phu lên hàng đầu
So
vì
for us, we
lấy
have
cái
to
giải thoát,
prioritize
lấy cái
the practice,
tu tập
use the
để làm
liberation
cái
as the
ý, cái tiêu chuẩn
standard,
bất
as
kỳ
the
ở trong cuộc
standard,
sống chúng ta,
the goal.
ở nơi đâu,
Doesn't matter what
và
we
làm gì,
are doing, we
chúng ta
need to
chỉ đều
always
hành trì giữ
meditate
cái nguyên
and
tắc.
maintain the doubt. That is
Nếu
the
mà
way
chúng ta
to
giữ cái nguyên
maintain the
giải
cause,
thoát trong của
the
bất kỳ
seed of
ai,
rational.
cho dù
Even
trong cuộc
though
sống có
there
những
are a
cái
lot of difficulties and challenges in
trở
life
ngại, khó khăn,
for Zen
những
practitioners,
cái cam go thử thách, thì khi mà
we
hành giả tham thiền
still have to
sẽ
overcome
có
that,
cái
meaning always
cân bằng,
meditate,
tức là luôn luôn thành
um,
công
whether the situation is
hay nghịch. Chúng ta
conducive or
đừng
not.
có
We need to always
chỉ lo đề cao
ask the
đầu tượng,
question, raise the doubt. Our
cái đức
practice is very
đơn
simple,
giản, rất
not
dễ dàng,
difficult,
không có
but
phải khó khăn,
the main thing is whether we
đều là
are able to believe
ta có
in the
tin
true
hay không,
mind,
có tin từ tâm hay
believe
không,
in ourselves,
tin được từ tâm,
and
tin
ask
tâm
the
ý niệm
question,
thật,
raise the doubt.
và
And when
đề tạo động,
our belief is
khiến
complete,
cho cái tin từ
then
tâm của chúng ta nó
all of
đầy đủ rồi
the
đó.
external
Tất cả những
conditions,
cảnh duyên, do nghiệp
um,
nướng, tất cả đó đều là cái
will
bên ngoài
all of
tâm,
those are just
đều là cái vỏ tâm,
dream
đều là
and
cái
duality
bao cả, tại vì nó
and
không
not
có
real.
thật đều là
So
thực
for
tế.
our
Vì
practice,
vậy
in order
với
to
công phu
return
hành thiền,
to our true self,
thì với
we
chính
need
mình
to believe in
rất quan
ourselves
trọng là
first.
tin chính mình trước,
And when
tin chính
we
mình
have the
và
right belief and
với cái niềm tin đó
practice the
thì
right method,
cái
we
phương
just
tiện
need
cuộc
to
sống đúng với
be
với
diligent
cái chánh pháp
and
thì chỉ có miệt mài,
follow
chỉ có
and
một cái hạnh
have
lâu dài
the
trường cửu, chỉ có
diligent act,
giống như là
like
câu Hạnh
continue
nói
with
chúng ta
the
một
action
ý,
all the
một
way.
tâm, một hành,
Like
là nó
our
cùng một
preacher
chí,
always said,
thì
we
mình đã đầy
need
đủ
to have
và
one
mình
mind,
đã phát huy
one
cái đại nguyện rồi.
practice, one action,
Rồi
and
cái
once we
nhất môn thâm nhập, à,
have such a
thì cái
practice,
đó
we
là
need
cái dựa
to
trên cái hạnh
always
tập
follow the same method.
an thân lập hạnh của chúng ta, an thân cũng như là tin tưởng
And when we do that all the way, we
nương
will
náu.
reach
Thì
achievement. So anybody have any question
chúng ta
about the
đối
practice,
với đại chúng,
uh,
vì nào có
you
thắc
can
mắc
raise
gì
your
cùng
question.
cô
Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.
xin cứ đề ra. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.
Kim Yến, please.
Kim Yến.
Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Này, dear all Sangha
Dạ,
practitioners,
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni
you
Phật. Con kính thưa quý thầy, quý sư cô,
usually
con là
teach us that
thầy
the
thầy Pháp dạy
patriarchs
cho chúng
said
con
we not worry about the
không không phải
illusory thought, we only worry about that the delay
mà mình bị
awakening.
thâu trầm
So
vọng tưởng
when I practice and
nó bị gián
there's
đoạn
a lot of
và nó không có hiệu quả
illusions, my
thì thưa
practice
thầy
becomes
mục
interrupted.
tiêu ở đây mình
But
làm mình phải
why this
duy trì
saying said we
hơn
should
cái chủ
worry
đề
more about delay
xin thầy phát biểu trong
awakening than illusion? Can you explain
Thâu
further?
trầm, vọng tưởng,
So
lạc
sleepiness
thú,
or
ác pháp, lệ thuộc,
illusory thoughts,
lầm
all of
lẫn
those
ý thức
are
liệt vào cái tập
your
khí.
karmic
Tập
habits,
khí là cái thói
not
quen
just for a short period of time, but
một thời gian ngắn,
for
vô lượng kiếp,
countless life.
vô lượng đời, vô lượng kiếp.
And we
Bản chất
attach to those.
cái tập khí thì nó không là cái gì, cái vấn đề là cứ thói
Um,
quen á,
so we are so
nó
familiar
cái
with
công phu
the
chúng ta
habits that we have, but we are not familiar with our practice yet. The important thing is to always raise the doubt and ask the question with the doubt is equivalent to, keep the awakening on. So our habit is to continuously to raise this discrimination, and when the cause and the condition are enough to create certain external situation, we keep following them, we keep chasing after them, sometimes for a long time. And for some people, even though they only chase their illusionary thought for a little bit, that can even lead them into the three lower realms. So the illusions always raised, but if our awakening is not there at the right time for us to continue meditate, we are very easily fall into those paths that can lead to the bad realm, and that's why we said we don't worry about illusory thought, we only worry about not having awakening. So awakening here is to immediately return to our practice, return to our meditation, ask the question, raise the doubt. For example, when it comes to a friction, people are more aware of friction and they don't want to attach to those. But for example, they might attach to some good situation that they think bringing their happiness, but those attachments might lead them into different paths. If they're lucky, it lead them into the good realms, or if they're not lucky, it lead them into the bad realms. But either way, they will continue to chase after those illusions, and without awakening, they won't be able to recognize those illusions and keep enjoying either the blessings or keep going through suffering. That's why our preacher also said, if we an attaching thought could lead us into the three lower realms because of attachment and considering things as real, we raise greed, we raise ignorance, and we do everything to get what we desire without caring about the consequences. And therefore, we always said we're not worried about illusions, we worry about not having awakening at soon enough. Therefore, we have to continue to maintain the practice. Be aware that those are just dreams, delusion, duality, and not chase after those. In the Harness Sutra, the pure act is the act for others, not for ourselves. Like whatever we do, even brushing our teeth in the morning, we still think about other people. Or when we wash our face, we also wish good things for people, for others. So everything we do, including going to a restroom, we always look forward to the bodhicitta, always. So that kind of mind will help us transcend attachment gradually. And once we are able to do that, we will gradually understand the intention and the teaching of the Buddha. Like Master Wisdom said, the teachings of the Buddha, where, that is used by the patriot and applied into their life daily. What it means is if we don't apply the teaching of the Buddha and the patriot daily, there's no way we will be able to truly understand their teaching and benefit from them. For the young people, those teachings help them transform their mind to towards liberation and ending attachment. Instead of chasing after other things, and from there they will be able to understand the teachings of the Buddha and being able to plant the seed of prajna. That is also considered an awakening thought. So when we are asked the question raised out, we are directly in attachment. Therefore, we suggest people to maintain the doubt. That doubt will not lead us into discrimination. It will not lead us into argument or fighting, whether it's inside or outside. So we need to always prioritize the main thing, the big thing, important thing, that is liberate from birth and death. And therefore, that thing is to remind us to continue to practice. If we raise a strong mind to liberate from birth and death, then our practice will be diligent. Doesn't matter whether there are illusions, sleepiness, excitement, it doesn't matter, because depending on each type of body, some people are strong and big, some people are little and small, uh, some have a rich style, some have a poor style. Those don't matter. Those are just illusions based on their karma. The Buddha said our body is made from the illusion, and that illusion is really strong. That's why it formed our human body. But doesn't matter how strong those illusions are, the prajna can break through all of them. So the practice is like a precious gem that can cure all kinds of sickness, like the gem, the pearl that is held by the medicine Buddha. So our self-nature, this kind of Dharma prajna can treat all of the sickness of birth and death, because all sickness come from birth and death. So the practice is like a precious gem of the medicine Buddha. So if we are sick but we don't know that we're sick, but we mistake that we are strong, that is also illusion. So it doesn't matter how sick we are, we already have a precious medicine. As long as we will take the medicine, all kinds of sickness will be gone. So the most important thing is we need to apply the practice. We need to take the medicine. So it doesn't matter what kind of sickness or how strong the attachment is. The Buddha Dharma will break through all of those. And that's why our patriarch said we not worry about sleepiness, illusion, or excitement. We only worry about losing our practice, because our thought can lead us into uh, delusion and not and lose our practice. She said she understand and think thầy sư cô Huệ Đạt said in the chat said thầy, can you please explain the meaning of the sentence to practice deeply one method? Could you explain further? When we say to enter a method deeply, it's equivalent to one mind, one act, all the way. So one method means one door. We enter in through one door. So usually we tend to be influenced by duality and attachment, and we are not able to believe in ourselves. We enter one door, also want to enter the other door. We use one skillful means, but also want to use the other means. We stand it on one mountain and looking at another mountain. We use all kinds of skillful means. That is because of our attachment. But this is a very common sickness of everyone. We are not religion and go all the way on one path. Whenever we meet a challenge, we turn back and doesn't want to overcome the difficulties. That is attachment, and because of attachment and our ignorance. For example, this direct method doesn't have an object of attack of seeking, of gaining, of fearing. It doesn't have anything to hold on to, and the practice also require a long time. That is also a challenge to help us return to our self nature. But we are used to looking outward. So now when we practice something where we don't see anything, we feel scared, and then we feel like our capacity is too low. We need more support. Our consciousness is very tricky. It come up with all kinds of arguments to persuade us. It tell us maybe we need to lower our karma by practice repentance. We need to create more blessings by recite the Buddha's name. We need to recite the mantra to help relieve some of the bad karma. From then, we will be able to practice meditation. It sounds very reasonable, but actually, it just leads us go around and around from one illusion to another illusion, and instead of practicing, some people, when they hear good things about reciting the Buddha's name, or when they see some quick gain, for example, the esoteric can show some kind of supernatural, and people attached to those quick gains, and they know after they learn multiple things, they don't want to enter any door. They uh, they are confused by a lot of doors, but the Buddha advised everyone to just need to enter one door, not multiple doors. If you go into through the indirect door, you need to later go through the direct door. But if you go through the direct door, you will go all the way into the house. But people cannot discern clearly. They're not clear on what is direct, what is indirect. They go on to one path and they feel tired and they went on another path. And after they feel tired, they then go on to another path. So they are tricked by their consciousness and ignorance without knowing. Also, they are influenced by their karmic habits. Sad, happy, love, hate influence them, not help them to be able to practice or be close to the rituals. So those are our habits. We need to practice. Doesn't matter what happens, we have to practice, or else there's no way we will achieve anything. Even if we, doesn't matter what happens, never leave the three jewels. Always follow the three jewels. Like the Buddha said, if that place has the right method, if that place has the skill for me, then even if they tell us to go away, don't go away. Try to hold on to that place so that you can learn the the right Dharma, because it's very difficult to meet the right Dharma. But for a place where everything is convenient and people welcome us, but there's no Dharma, then even if um, all of the convenience is right there, we can that can satisfy our five desires. We still have to go away, or else we will just create more karma and plunge further into birth and death. I tell a story of someone received a pouch from the king in the palace. He feel um, confused and not sure what to do. And when he opened the pouch, he saw the message that he need to leave right away. Even if the king tried to keep him, he still had to leave. Um, at the end, when the monastic leave, the king gave him uh, a fan, a pa- a fan that has the seal of the king to protect the monastic. So we can see that even if we stay at a very convenient place, while if we go on to um, the path of um, a monastic, we have to experience a lot of inconvenience, no food, um, no good clothes, etc. People look down on him, but when he showed the fan, then everybody come gather around and give him a lot of respect. And at the end, he he built he built the Temple. It's the story of Ngọc Lâm Sen Master. So we can see that even at a very convenient place, but without the Dharma, we still have to leave. But even if a place that is not convenient but have the Dharma, we have to stay there, you know, because if everything is too convenient, it's hard for us to want to practice. So that is same thing as entering into one door. Doesn't matter how difficult it is, we still have to keep the practice, never put down, always practice. Go back to the question, Moshe Mini dear thầy, dear Sandra, and all Dharma friends. I have a question about the practice. Over the past few years, I listened to a lot of Dharma friends sharing about their practice. Now you actually said we practice so that we create a familiarity with the practice. So for me, I practice a lot, but I still feel not that familiar with the uh, practice yet. I sometimes hear the Dharma friend say that they can even practice when they sleep, and I start to want to do the same, try to practice during sleep. But I feel like when I have a dream, I don't see myself practice at all. Um, so even though in the dream I know what I was doing, but I still don't remember to practice. During the day, I ask the question, but it looks like I don't ask it all the time. It's only when I feel my mind has such thoughts, this and that, then I know I lose practice. Then I ask the question clearly. All dharmas return to one. Where does one return to? So I keep doing the same thing like that. I'm not sure if I have the mindset of um not 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 caring enough. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. So when you know already know uh like that, it means you already have an awakening thought. If you in a delusion of the illusory thought, you will only uh know about your work, your reality thought, dualistic thought, but what not think about your practice. Anything it has to come from staying feel familiar. The common habit of illusion, discrimination is very, very strong, especially for the people with strong health, young people with lots of blessings and convenience. Like you can see that when we bring some of our friends here, they when they listen to the teaching, they feel oh the teaching is very good, but they still not able to practice because they have too many blessings. They they only worry about work, about making money, about their spouse, their children, and not able to worry about the practice. Same thing for us. We also worry about other things too, but because we experience some outstanding suffering, like we look at our parents and saw our parents suffering, but we only see it from other people. We are not experiencing suffering yet, and that's why we we do not have enough suffering to lead us into the practice. Some people really like to do charity, to do the things that create blessings. It's because they more interested in doing things, and when they sit down practice and meditate, they right away being challenged by sleepiness, illusory thought, etc. They feel tired. They feel they need to relax. Normally people feel healthier when they meditate, but for those people, they feel tired when they sit down meditate. They want to go outside, like break free. Or for some old ladies, they interested in the kitchen. Whenever they have the break from the meditation, go right into the kitchen, even though sometimes they don't have anything worth doing there, because they're more interested in the work than the practice. If they're truly interested in the practice, they will even forget about their work. So, but that is just the common habit. If we abide by the rules of the temple, then we will be able to respect the practice and respect ourselves. The Buddha always to help people to self-awakening. He doesn't force people with anything. He only let people to raise their own mind of, wanting to take refuge in the three jewels. He doesn't force anyone. The right Dharma have to um, follow the right condition. For the if we not familiar yet, we still need to continue to learn, and the wise teachers will, based on our conditions, will teach us based on our capacity and conditions. No one told anyone to follow us, we only wait for people and help them when the right conditions come. When we are deluded, we should get help from the wise teachers to help us um, see the path. And when we are able to see the path, we can walk it ourselves. So the common habit influence us for a long time without us knowing. But now we really recognize them. Um, we recognize they are ignorant and attachment. We know that they are just dreams. We be able to recognize that, during the day we have a lot of illusions and discrimination without, but not much practice. But if you are able to recognize that, it means you already have an awakening thought. You just need to return to the practice more so that you can become closer to the practice until you reach the highest achievement. Here's a question. Nam mô Sa Ca Mâu Ni Buddha, dear thầy, dear Sangha, and all practitioners. Yesterday, my friend, he worked in the science field, he happened to learn about our former master Wei, and when he was researching about meditation, he wrote a he wrote a essay about uh, Zen master Viễn Giác, and he asked whether this Zen master is the master that taught with Patriot Zen. And after he finished the verse, the poem, he hang it up in his house and keep reading. Actually, he keep reading the poem about the spring flower. And he asked uh, if he relates this poem to as refer this poem as a skillful means of Patriot Zen. Is it okay to do like that? Uh, can I send him such poem so he as a way to help him first learn about the Zen Patriot Zen? Thank you, thầy. For the poem about a spring flower is composed by Thiền sư Zen Master Mãn Giác, which is a Vietnamese Zen master. It's also talk about the theory of meditation, the principle of non-duality. What it says for the practitioner, from the past life till now, they always look forward to the brightness and liberation, non-duality throughout their life. So that is the principle. But the practice, we need further teaching. The poem cannot describe everything about the meditation yet, but at least it can tell the principle, the general idea of meditation. So the poem is always a way to show our thinking, our idea. Same thing in the past, our patriot also present their poem, their words to their teacher, for a teacher to tell them how where their practice is at, for the patriot to certify where they are at on their practice. So all of the poem and the verse are to help the practitioner. But nowadays, people know all of those poems and verse already, coupled with their active consciousness nowadays. Even they even can use technology to help them compose verse quickly. You know. So the technology now is to develop. Was based on our brain, but it later developed really fast. But that also create challenges to the practitioners. So come back to the poem. From the teachings of the Buddha and the teacher, from the sutras of the Buddha, there are different kinds of verses. So the verses are also the teaching of the Buddha. The poem is also some examples coming from the Buddha. So they teaching or describe the meaning of liberation. So the poem about the spring flower of the Zen Master mãn giác.
mãn giác thiền sư, tức là xuân đáo bách hoa khai.
When spring comes, all the flowers smile. When the spring is gone, all, lots of flowers die.
Rồi sự trục nhãn tiền quá, tức là
Time flies and
trên đầu già đến rồi.
soon our head turn gray.
Chớ bảo xuân tàn hoa rụng.
But don't say that when the spring is gone, all of the flower will be gone, because there's still a little piece of flower in the yard. So what it means is lots of people just want to experience spring all the time. They just want to experience happiness without knowing that it doesn't last. While the spring of self-nature, the spring of Buddha nature is a no-death spring. The spring that always lasts. So it's also a way to talk about the principle of impermanence. From impermanence, we realize permanence. From birth and death, we realize no birth, no death. That is also talk about the dogma of Zen meditation, Zen practitioner. So those words are to help us to recognize the self-nature. So we have to be careful and make sure that we need to get the idea and forget about the word, not just chase after words. So for Patriot Zen, once we ask the question based on, we are returning to our pure Buddha nature. Now, when we say we're on the way back, it's a way to help us secure the direction. So when we say some people seem like they are silly when they practice, it's actually they only silly because they look silly because they are too focused on the practice. Once they put the practice aside, they are still a normal person, being conscious of everything. Same thing like a student. When he focuses on his studying, he will forget about other things, even forget eating, sleeping because of studying. So we see that is his determination on studying and wanting to pass the exam because he wants his parents to be happy with his achievement. So each person has their own situation. You can see that for that student, it's a very good for that student because he focused on the studying. That's why he forget about everything. Same thing for a practitioner. If a practitioner focus on the practice all the way, that practice will be strong. And eventually, he or she will reach enlightenment and liberate from birth and death, able to control themselves and not letting ignorance and affliction to control them. So that poem about the spring flowers of Mãn Giác Zen Master also talk about the non-duality, seeing permanence from impermanence, seeing no birth and death from birth and death. But how can we be awakened? We have to learn and practice to gradually understand, when we understand, we will be able to believe in the true mind and then continue to practice. Don't just attach to those words, those poems, and not thinking it's good enough to learn the words and argue upon the words. Those words are just skillful means. We need to practice. Thank you, thầy. He is in the process of learning and practicing. I will let him know about your teaching. The time is up. Goodbye, everyone. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.
Bây giờ cũng hết giờ. Kính chào quý thầy, quý sư cô, bà làm tham. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.